up next, we have South Dakota State University and partner Landowner Recruitment Program, Dr. Sandy Smart with SDSU Extension, and Tom Haussman with the Mid-Missouri River Prescribed Burn Association. What was that? A presentation? Do they have?
No, you don't
have one. Okay. Nope, you guys are good. Thank you.
So good morning, everybody. My name is Sandy Smart. I work with SDSU Extension. What I'm going to talk about a little bit is just some brief history of how we entered this space in terms of helping producers get started. Then Tom is going to go into more detail about the grassroots effort. So right before COVID in March 2020, part of our CCGA, which is now you're going to have to help me with the acronym, Conservation Collaboration Grant Agreement, that SDSU had with the Mid-Missouri River Prescribed Burn Association. As part of that outreach, we had 2 meetings in Yankton and Mitchell in March before COVID started, and then that was videotaped. So that has Dave Steffen, Tom Haussman, Rod Voss, Heidi Reintz, Sean Kelly, and others, and that is available on our YouTube channel for Extension. And then December of 2022, that Pete mentioned, we had the Woody Plant Control Summit that was held here in Oklahoma on December 1st. And then in February and March of 2023, we held evening classes in Mitchell, Chamberlain, Sisseton, Watertown, and Yankton. And then we had some live training burn schools in Brandon at Jeff's place, and then 2 at the Oak Lake Field Station. So that kind of brings us up to where we are, and now we're in a contribution agreement, our second grant with the Mid-Missouri River Prescribed Burn Association, where we're now building that human capacity through those training opportunities. So I partnered with Tom to begin this grassroots effort, knocking on doors, cold calling, talking to the community, and as we were now moving forward to build enthusiasm and knowledge for new burn associations. So Tom, then you can tell that story.
Okay. I started in July of 23 with this whole idea of we can have training meetings, we can have a lot of training sessions, but the reality of it is nothing happens until we get fire on the ground and get organized to do that. So, and that's forming PBAs, and those need to be landowner driven. Otherwise, they just aren't going to work. So I started in July of 23. My primary area of focus was the lower James River Valley, roughly from Yankton, where the James River dumps into the Missouri, north of Mitchell up into Sanborn County. And my first step, and I would suggest this if you want to take that effort to start a PBA, is get a hold of your local NRCS people and start there. Rod Voss, Heidi Reintz, I think, is here. Where are you, Heidi? Raise your hand. Okay. Brent is here, a local DC there. He's back in Ryan is also here. There we go. All right. Those guys can be a big help because they have a lot of contacts and they have contact information for people. So good people to have on your side. But I started trying to talk to farmers and ranchers, and I think of July, you just don't catch many. All right. So then my second thought was, who else has a vested interest in controlling cedars? So I spent a lot of time going to all the ag lenders in the area, realtors, and I happened to get this ad from a land auction company, and in the packet of advertising this land, they say, where to go? And the pasture has had cedar trees controlled. Why would they add that to an ad unless they're going to make money off of it? So, I mean, it's there, it's important, but my whole purpose getting started was just to raise awareness of the problem. And it's surprising after you have some meetings, start talking to it about it, people will come up and say, you know, now that you mention it, I really do notice more cedar trees. So it can happen that way. I also talked to a lot of volunteer fire department chiefs, emergency management people that understand the process we're trying to promote here with fire and who might gain from it, but also who might be able to contribute to our effectiveness. So simply, when I would talk to people, I would use this little booklet that all of you have seen. If not, I'm sure there's some available in the room. Pick that up. That's really a good piece to hand out to people. But I validated what's in that book with pictures of my own pasture and what's happened to it from 1955 to 2017 and how the cedar trees really took over. But you have to sell this program a little bit. Part of the sale, or my sale of the program was it cost $62 an acre on my land to clear cedar trees from the core land where they aren't very thick. My cost got up to $438 an acre where there are a lot of cedar trees. Okay, so something to help emphasize the point, and dollars and cents goes a long way when you do that. The point being, though, emphasize the fear of loss, not the desire for gain. Okay, simple psychology. People are more motivated by understanding what they're losing rather than what they're gaining. And after talking to a lot of lenders, realtors, and all those people, it finally got to the time of the year where I got to more farmers and ranchers. But we decided then to have meetings in January of 24, and worked a lot to get the word out. Don't just say, well, let's have the NRCS people send out emails. You need to get more contacts than that. So we had radio interviews, newspaper programs that helped advertise the whole thing. We used the NRCS email list, a lot of different ways of helping people realize what we're doing. Again, just from an informational and awareness standpoint. In January, we had meetings in Yankton, Minnow and Mitchell, all right? And that was, again, just informational meetings, helping people realize the problem. And then we came back with another meeting where we talked about actually forming a PBA. And we held those meetings in Yankton and Mitchell. Brad Christensen came over from the MMR PBA and helped small groups understand what it took to form a PBA, and that it really wasn't that difficult. And here's evidence of one of them right here in front, the Southeast South Dakota PBA. But they did something with it, and that's the point. Again, we can have all the training meetings, you can gain all the knowledge you want, but until you do something about it, nothing is gained. So to me, there's duff, two kinds of duff. One of them is that what's laying on the sod, all that old dead grass and everything, that's duff, and you can burn that. The other duff is the one you're sitting on, okay? And you can burn it, I suppose, but that's not pleasant. But if you get off your duff and do something about it, now you can start to have an impact on the cedar tree encroachment issue. But until you do, nothing's going to happen. So it has to happen at the ground level and landowner driven, but do something about it. Otherwise, you're going to come back next year to another meeting, say, yeah, I still got them. Yeah, they're getting bigger, they're getting thicker. You're going to talk about it. You got to do something. And a PBA is really a good way to get organized and get something done in that regard.